and continue to co-organize, in addition to the development of knowledge.
To be here with you at this 2016 Burapha University Conference. This conference is an annual international conference hosted by Burapha University to give academics an opportunity to share their knowledge and experience. As you may well understand, we are living in an era of global expansion in higher education together with the liberalization of trade, which has opened up opportunity and exerted effects on our economy and social interaction. Being acutely aware of such impacts and their consequence, Burapha University has made its top priority the qualification and recognition of regionalization and internationalization of research through various modes of communication. This fifth year of the Burapha University International Conference plays a key role in facilitating this overarching goal. The conference theme is harmonization of knowledge towards the betterment of society, which has been established to serve the need for new idea, discovery, and innovation from all disciplines in a holistic sense in order to guide society towards a prosperous and sustainable future. We hope that the gathering of academic achievement from this conference will help steer society in the desired direction indicated by the Burapha University vision, Wisdom of the East for the Future of the Nation. In this year's conference, we have reviewed more than 104 papers. 82 were accepted for publication, including 47 from science and technology, 26 from humanity and social science, 9 from health science. Additionally, some of the scholars will be presenting this paper orally, while others will present using posters displayed in front of the hall throughout today and tomorrow. This conference, 37 editors, 16 as organizing committee, 163 peer reviewers, and a compact but purely effective secretary. The success of this conference is very much based on the support of the university management, cooperation of various teams, and kind participation of the invited scholars. We gratefully receive your contribution with open arms and a glad heart. In closing, may we all revel in eager anticipation of the upcoming feast of knowledge that we shall enjoy over the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
The Burapha University International Conference is an annual academic event attracting more than 300 presentations. It is a unique conference which gathers researchers, both expert and novice alike, to share their ideas in a broad spectrum of disciplines ranging from science and engineering to arts and humanity that are vitally important to the promotion of sustainable living. This year, the conference celebrates its 5th anniversary, marking a half-decade of integrative research dissemination. The theme, harmonization of knowledge towards the betterment of society, has been selected to emphasize a holistic approach to research at Burapha University in order to foster innovations which can directly benefit society. I'm elated to see this conference continue to grow with each passage. And I would like to thank the staff and organizing committee for all their hard work in orchestrating this conference. This is one of a few large annual events hosted by Burapha University, in which we dedicate all of our time and resources to create a truly inspiring event. I'm so glad to see many of our friends attending both old and new, local and international. Sharing of academic resources is not everything, but sharing moments of joy is what we are striving to accomplish. So I would like to express my particular appreciation for the effort you have all made to be here with us for this conference. Your participation has strengthened our friendship and collaborations, and it is always wonderful to see. It seems to be especially pertinent that the conference this year is themed Harmonization of Knowledge towards the betterment of society. As the ASEAN community is developing rapidly and the integration of knowledge across boundaries must be implemented in order to bring the greatest benefit to both local and global communities. The variety of papers to be present at this conference over the next 2 days very much reflect the issues and challenges posed by systemic change across such a broad range of topics in our academic fields. As such, I trust that we will all find new inspiration for our research and continue to build academic networks for collaboration on relevant, meaningful topics to answer the needs of this rapidly evolving multicultural society. I'm confident that the organizing committee has made every effort to provide you with the resources needed to facilitate not only collaborations, but the sharing of knowledge during the conference, but also your personal comfort and enjoyment. So I urge you to fully participate in this event for the benefit of your own academic careers, our further institutional cooperation, and for the continued growth and development of our countries and the globe. I do sincerely hope that all participants will benefit from the quality academic work present during the conference, and trust you will enjoy the excellent service of our venue, the excitement and vitality of Pattaya, and the charm and hospitality of Thailand throughout your stay. And lastly, again, I would like to thank and appreciate to the Taipei National University of the Arts for their fantastic performance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for that very kind introduction. Professor Sompon, Rector of Burapha University, Dr. Anat D. Patana, Deputy Rector Dr. Pisit Piriyapan, Dean of Faculty of Medicine, Burapha University, Dr. Prasad Sopon, the Professor Emeritus at Mahidol and here at Burapha Universities, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying I must be one of the very few politicians who have been invited to speak on these kind of subjects. I can only say that I am a product of liberal arts education. 2 years at Thammasat and 2 years at Claremont Men's College at my time, during my time. Now the university, the college had to go co-ed because boys won't go to men's college anymore. They want ladies there too. So the college has morphed into Claremont McKenna College in Southern California. So if I know anything about science or other subjects more than just my own particular discipline, political science, the credit will have to go to my liberal arts education. It is a privilege to be with you today to talk about knowledge and the betterment of our society. And I hope that this is being an international conference. The definition of the word society in the theme means human society, means the global society, means the entire living species on this little planet. Because the challenges that we are faced with today as a global community are formidable, coming from 360 degrees. And most of these challenges cannot be handled by any country, any discipline, or any organization. It requires 7.3 billion of us, at least in our spirit, that we will have to join hands to address these global challenges together. A few years ago, the BBC commissioned a series of TV investigative reports under the theme, under the question, how many human beings can this little blue planet sustain? The BBC team went to talk to many experts across the globe. And here's what they said. If every one of us, 7.3 billion human beings, consumes the same natural resources, food, clean air, fresh water, if we, each and every one of us, consumes the same amount as people in India, then this planet can sustain 12 billion humanity. But many of us don't want to consume that much. All of us measure us against Europe, against North America. If all of us would consume as much as the average human being in North America consumes today, this planet can only sustain 1.2 billion. And the summary of that series said, if that is the rate we are going, consuming all the resources on this planet, by the year 2050, 35, 34 years from now, we will need 5 more planets. Do we have any other planets to go to? Do we have any plan B to carry us out to the outer universe? Not that I know of. So the challenge before us, humanity, is how to do fundamental research, how to do applied research, and how to acquire knowledge in order to make sure that we are not going to waste our natural resources, that we will find alternative sources of energy, that we will be able to manage the limited resources that this little planet has been endowed with. So all the disciplines that you have made and you are ready to present at this international conference, all of them together are addressing, I hope, that question of the survival of this planet. So the mission that you have is more than just your own little discipline. This morning, yesterday I was in Aratua. I flew up in the afternoon and my hair was a bit dusty. I had to do the washing and the shampooing of my hair. And one of the papers here is about following the footprint of shampoo. Meaning, how many liters of water that we need in order to produce 1 tube of shampoo, in the production of it, in the packaging of it, in the transport of it, until I use it this morning in my room. About 140 liters of water. Little subject like this by Dr. Nattapon Leung Kasem-san. Are you here? Is going to point to how are we going to conserve the natural resources for future generations. And in here, Dr. Prasad laments about the misunderstanding of politicians about research. I agree with you, sir. Because many of us developing countries are at risk of being caught in what the World Bank calls the middle income trap. Meaning, your economies, middle income countries, started with low wage. So you bring industries from around the world because the labor cost in your countries is very low. Thailand benefited from that, from Taiwan. When the first wave of textile industry was relocated here. Because in Taiwan, textile industry was considered 5 decades ago a sunset industry. It was a sunrise industry here. We had no concern about the environment. We had low labor costs. Textile industry needs a lot of labor. Dry land was available, it was relocated here. That was the modality of development of developing countries all across the globe. But 101 countries, middle income back in 1960, the World Bank said only 13 have made it to the high income country. Thailand has not made it. The only way to get out of the middle income country trap, middle income trap, is to promote science, technology, and innovation. Things that you are doing here. And not only applied research, but it has to be fundamental research. And Dr. Prasad is right. I read your article, your lament, your complaint, your criticism of politicians who don't understand what it takes to do fundamental research. Because the attitude is, last year we gave you 100 million baht, you haven't produced anything, therefore this year, no research budget. Little that we know that fundamental research will require many people doing research continuously on the same subject or variations of the same subject before those fundamental research could become integrated into a technology. A lot of middle-income countries do not have that mindset, do not have that understanding and that appreciation. Isaac Newton at Cambridge left the university in 1665, 1666, left Cambridge because of the plague, Burapha. Malum to Cambridge. Everybody had to run away. He ran away to his little farm, nearby, not very far, Lincolnshire. He continued to think. And he was slumbering, he was sleeping under an apple tree. And a rotten apple dropped. And he said, aha, the earth has gravitational force. โลกนี้มีแรงดึงดูด At the same time he saw the moon on the sky, he said, it must be the same gravitational force that kept the moon up there and brought the apple down here under the tree that I'm sleeping. That was Isaac Newton. And he's now considered the founding father of many, many fields of sciences. He was called philosopher. Philosopher of natural sciences. And he was one of the scientists whose picture Einstein put on his wall at Caltech in California, along with Michael Faraday. I'll tell you something about Michael Faraday later. This is my understanding of the importance of fundamental research. And when his colleagues asked him back at Cambridge, how in the world could you think about the theory of gravity? Isaac Newton said, and here is the most important statement of fundamental research. Isaac Newton said, if I could see further than others, it is because I am standing on the shoulders of giants. Meaning what? Literally, was he standing on the shoulders of giants? No, he was sleeping under an apple tree on his farm in Lincolnshire. close to Cambridge. He was not standing on any giant's shoulders physically, literally, no. But he was standing on the works, the theories, the hypotheses, the ideas of people all the way back to Galileo, all the way back to the scientists of the Muslim world, who study astronomy, who study the chemistry, who study mathematics, who study philosophy, who transmitted the Greek sciences to the dark ages of Europe. Isaac Newton was at the end of that dark ages of Europe. If I could see further than anybody else, it is only because I am standing on the shoulders of giants of intellectual investigation in the past. And if you know the rivalry between Harvard and Cambridge, at the library at Oxford now, there is this statement of Isaac Newton, meaning, and this is what Isaac Newton said too. He said, Plato is a friend of mine, Aristotle is a friend of mine, but the real friend is the truth. My real friend is the truth. So even though he was a Cambridge man, Oxford now put his statement, if I can see further than others, because I stand on shoulders of giants. And some of the giants came from Oxford. I think this is what the rector meant by saying that this is an opportunity for friends, seekers of truth coming together in order to appreciate each other's efforts, in order to help each other understand differences in your own respective disciplines. Michael Faraday was another scientist that Einstein put the picture on his book. And you know, Michael Faraday was a poor man. His father was Chang Ti-Lek, a blacksmith. His mother was a servant before marriage. He lived in poverty. He had to work in a bookbinding office, store. He used to deliver books after being bound. And he read books in between his delivery time. And he was fascinated by science, by natural science. And he wanted to prove the things that he read in real life. One of the things that he wanted to prove was he got a grant from the British government to experiment on the magnetic field. That if you move a coil in a magnetic field, you will create electricity. Something was clicking. And there was an MP from the British Parliament came to see him at the Royal Institute in London and asking him, oh, what toy are you playing with? You got the money from the government to create this toy to play with? What a waste of money. What is it? Michael Faraday looked at him and said, sir, I don't know what it is myself. I know for sure before, at the end of my experiment, the British government is going to collect a lot of tax out of this invention. Aha, this is it. Electricity, generators, everything that has to do with electricity or powered by electricity, current or in the form of batteries. That's fundamental research. And then early this year, 100 years after Einstein predicted that there is something called gravitational wave, early in February this year in Washington, they announced, we did it, we found, we detected this gravitational wave. 1.3 billion years, light years away from us, but we detected it. And who knows? We use gasoline, we use oil, we use gas, we use biomass, we use coal to create electricity now. But gravitational wave is described as a wave that carries energy throughout the universe. Now you know what I mean now. By coming together, the word society must be expanded to include all humanity. Global society. Because from the community of scientists, seekers of truth, like yourselves, that one day we may be able to tap that energy in the gravitational wave that Einstein predicted back in 1916, but we could never prove it until 2016. Who knows? From now on, we don't need carbon-based energy resource. We don't need to pollute our environment. We don't have to worry about carbon dioxide in the sky that has kept the temperature of the earth growing, and that is threatening all of us, humans and other living organisms of this little blue planet. So Dr. Prasad, you are right. The day before yesterday, just by sheer incident, I went to seeกสวท.สำนักงานสสวท.สำนักงานวิทยาศาสตร์และเทคโนโลยีแห่งชาติ Our Science and Technology Agency, RANSI. And they were complaining about the same thing. That the government doesn't understand, the politicians don't understand, that the people in the budget office don't understand, that even the people in the Ministry of Education don't understand. That when you do fundamental research, vital to national survival and human survival and global survival, you need to do long series of research and investigation, so that someone, sometime in the future, will put all these things together in a technological appliances. When X-ray light or X-ray, I don't know even how to call it, was founded, the founder had no idea it would be used in the diagnosis of our diseases. When Einstein found the force of nuclear, he had no idea. And he was against nuclear bomb, but he had no idea that it could generate electricity for us, that it could be used in order to diagnose. The same theory, diseases, to keep human beings healthy. So I am here not as a scientist, but as someone who appreciates science. As someone who knows that the survival of this planet, or humanity in this planet, or all living beings on this planet will depend on the products of your work. And that all of us who are now caught in this, what the World Bank calls middle income trap, will not be able to get out of it or to avoid it. Just to give you an example, Thailand and Korea was in the same league 60 years ago. But Korea invested in science, in technology, and innovation. Thailand did not. Thailand preferred to buy technology. Now Korea is one of the OECD countries helping the rest of the world selling nuclear generator and Samsung and Honda and green technology to the world. And the per capita income is $34,000 a year. Thailand's per capita income now, $6,000 a year, and unlikely to be stuck here. We are looking for champions, we are looking for rescuers. We are looking for people who could rescue us, who could take us across this valley of death. From backward developing to developed, from middle income to high income. I look around and see little hope anywhere else, except in your community of scientists. I've said enough about natural sciences. Let me say, I also appreciate humanities. I also appreciate social sciences. I also appreciate a lot of works here that you have done. Learning English from peers. You know, Thailand is one of those countries who takes pride in, and rightly so, as a country that has never been colonized. Great, fantastic, be proud of it. But there's a drawback there. We think we don't need to learn to speak any other language except Thai. Our English is not that good. And we have been struggling teaching our students, particularly now in the community of ASEAN, in the ASEAN community. You need to speak English. 8 professions that they have agreed to cross borders. Doctors, dentists, nurses, you teach here. Engineers, architects, accountants. People in the hospitality industry, tourism, people who survey the value of properties and worth, and who would do due diligence so that Thailand can invest in Indonesia, Indonesians can invest in Malaysia, Malaysia can invest in the Philippines. You need this group of people. 8 professions could cross borders here in the ASEAN community. But you need them to speak English. You need them to be fluent in the language that is considered the working language of ASEAN. Now, there is this little research by Ajahn Konden about learning English from peers, meaning learning together, meaning speaking to each other, meaning helping each other, in the classroom, outside the classroom, in social setting, will help our students learn foreign language better. So if you take that and extrapolate it and scale it up, and you say you need an enabling environment for our youth to be able to speak foreign language more fluently, correctly, understandably. So you need TV programs in English. You need radio news in English. You need a lot more English, English, English. Because it is proven in this little research that learning from peers is very effective. The same theory, the same kind of hypothesis has been adopted in Korea. So that young Korean government and private sector employees will have to be sent to this little village where it is supposed to be a foreign country, where you have to go through immigration in English, where you have to go through customs in English, where you have to go to your room in English, where you have to order your food in English. That's enabling environment so that our youth, our employees will be encouraged to think, to speak, and to dream in the English language. Thank you very much for that piece of research, and I hope that the Ministry of Education will take it up. And I hope people at the policy level who believe that more English is not patriotic. For a long, long time, we did not want to open international schools here. Because we are afraid that people who would come here teaching foreign curriculum will somehow diminish our culture. Well, there are now 50, 60 international schools around the country. This afternoon, I'll go and see one somewhere near Khao Kieu, and it is called Rugby School, 450 years old, from the UK, where the rugby game was created. They want to open a campus here. Imagine if we had that 20 years ago. Imagine if we had that kind of idea 30 years ago. Thailand would be much more cosmopolitan than this. Why do we have to be cosmopolitan? Because the world is getting smaller. Pattaya has to be cosmopolitan, otherwise nobody would come. Chiang Mai, Phuket don't have to be cosmopolitan, otherwise nobody would come. But when you land at Suvarnabhumi, you don't feel like Bangkok is cosmopolitan enough. So, you need an enabling environment. You need an environment that would encourage people, young people, to be more familiar with foreign languages. It doesn't have to be English. It can be Chinese, can be Japanese, can be German, can be Malay, can be Tagalog, can be anything. But we have to be more cosmopolitan. That piece of little research can be an inspiration to our language policy in this country. And let me stop at this, telling you a story. I have been invited by the Ministry of Education, particularly their Institute of Teaching English. Every time when I finish, I would ask any questions, any observation, any comments. The first hands came from students who are going to schools that have bilingual or that offer courses in English. And I asked all the people present, why do you think so? Nobody could come up with the answer. I volunteered to postulate that because they have the instrument, the key of the English language, they could look into the information before they come to the classroom. They probably know more than the teachers on that very subject that day. They probably ask more questions from what they read and ready to ask more from the teachers and to argue with the teachers and to challenge the teachers. Now you are talking about changing the dynamics in the classroom. It changes automatically. From now on, teachers cannot lecture down. Students will speak up. Teachers will have to change the role from being teachers to become a guide. Help you go through a lot of this information available here already. You don't have to research. On my last trip, flying into Bangkok, I saw a movie, Steve Jobs. The last one, you should look at it. Steve Jobs had a problem with his wife. They had a child, 6 years old. The day that Steve Jobs was going to introduce a new invention, the mother and the child came behind the stage. And the staff of Steve Jobs was very annoyed that this is not the moment, because the guy had to go on stage and present a new invention. I don't know which one. So the staff asked the little girl, 6 years old, "Aren't you supposed to be in school today?" Meaning, correct, but the crowd, meaning it was meant to criticize the mother. Aren't you supposed to be in school today? Why does your mother bring you here? You're not supposed to be. You're supposed to be in school. You know what the little girl said? I have read them all last night. What the teacher was going to teach me today. I have read it all. I don't need to be there. I can accompany my mother to see my father. I have read it all. That's because of the information technology. I cannot cover every subject here. What I meant to say, research, fundamental research, seeking the truth, fundamental truth, it will take a long time, many generations. And in the end, what is this? A communication tool. But in here, there's a theory of light, there's a biochemistry, there's a chemistry, there is physics, there is a radio wave, there is electrical engineering, there is everything here. Research by so many people, not only in Korea, not only in the US, not only in Europe, but across the spectrum of the global community. But here we have it as an instrument of communication. Everybody. So if you think of your mission not only as a small little niche, แค่ซอกแค่มุมของวิทยาศาสตร์สาขาเล็กๆ a small discipline that you want to zero in on, don't ever underestimate the value and the power of that truth that you have found. Because sometime, somewhere along the way, somebody will come around and look at them and say, I can put that 1 and 2 together and I will get 3, 4, 5. because as humble seekers of truth would always have to think like Newton, because we are standing on the shoulders of giants in the past. Good luck for the next 2 days, and I'm sure you will be able to learn a lot from here. I've learned a lot from this little book, a lot of inspiration, and I'm sure you will be on your way to contribute to a betterment of the larger society of all of us on this planet Earth into the future. Thank you very much.